Tired of organizational systems falling apart after 1 week? Well, it's not you, it's your ADHD. Hello everyone and welcome back to A Hoarder's Heart. For today, oh yeah, we are designing a new organizational system for this area right here, being very mindful of the ADHD brain, because so many times I created a new system and it worked, and a week later it started to fall apart. And it didn't matter how many different systems I would try, the same cycle continued. Have I not found the system that works for my ADHD until I realized it had nothing to do with the organizational system and had everything to do with my ADHD brain when hyperfixation versus abandonment. And in hyperfixation, when all the dopamine is running to my brain, I am creating a new organizational system that's going to solve all the clutter and organizing problems that I have. I am hyper-focused into researching these different things. Do I have what I need? What can I use? I can't wait to put this all together. The novelty of all of it just has that dopamine flowing through my brain. We are going to solve this problem forever. And then you go back to your normal daily life and the drop-off starts, because now the novelty of creating that organization is gone and it went away with the dopamine. How do we kind of keep those dopamine levels going so that we're not continuously falling into this cycle? Well, we're going to dive into that. All right, now that the dopamine is pumping, let's get in here. Top of the shelf, we got to identify the zone. What's it going to be? Well, it's going to be a decorative zone for me, meaning family photos. We're going to have holiday pieces or decorative pieces. We're also going to have my diffuser, because I love my diffuser, and have the beautiful smells in my home. So it's kind of to set the tone. Now, decorative zone also has to share my printer, because I have nowhere else to put my printer. I do use it often for work, so that's okay. The printer can share the zone with the decorative items. Now that we have defined the surface zone, it's time to declutter it, because there's a lot of stuff on here that actually doesn't belong here. And actually this sign, I think I'm going to let it go and put it in the next yard sale. But it's very important to know that I'm only going to use organizational pieces that we already have. I'm not buying anything new, because it's very important that we stay within our no spend challenge. And if I need something, then I'm going to have to get creative and figure out what can I use in place of it. And I just wanted to show you this really quick. This is something I made for Brandon on the first day of school, just using stuff that I had for his senior year to make it important. I just wanted to share that you can have special moments and not spend a lot of money. So let me tell you about my ADHD organizing cycle in the past, right? Because right now, I'm in hyperfixation. The spark is sparking. I'm getting a huge burst of energy and excitement, because this organizational system is going to change everything for me. And I had before researched maybe bins, watched organizational videos, bought supplies, and poured hours into setting up. And it feels fun because it feels like a novelty. So that dopamine is pumping. This system is born. This bin right here, it's a work bin, right? So this is a lot of like the Etsy shop things, like for selling bracelets, like I write a little letter, I try to do a pretty little mailer. You know me, I have to throw in like a sticker or something in there. It also holds this. So this is my laptop stand if I have to do a Zoom. It kind of holds that too. So I will go through it, see if there's anything that we let go of. And as we're going through everything, let's continue talking about those past ADHD organizational cycles, right? Because the system was born and I would set it up perfectly. It's beautiful. It's functional. It's labeled. And in that moment, I felt like I solved my clutter problem forever until the drop-off occurred. Daily life kicked back in, and the system now felt done, which means the novelty, the dopamine, is gone. And the system feels boring, so my brain doesn't get the same reward from using it anymore. And this next bin is the perfect example of that. All right, now that that's all done, it's time to move to this bin. This has actually worked, right? This is YouTube, and this is like YouTube, like electronic stuff. The thing is that it hasn't been decluttered in years, probably since we created it. And I know there's a lot of random chords, and a lot of those random chords don't work. So selfie stick, we use that. I always use this, the snowball thing, if I have to do a Zoom or talk online. Take everything out, we're gonna sort it, and we'll loosely organize this a little better. That way it's much easier to pull out things, because I have a good feeling we're gonna be pulling out half of this stuff. Because half of this stuff I forgot I had. It's outdated tech, some of it's probably even broken, and it's just the classic drop-off. I don't have any more dopamine going back into this system, so I didn't keep up with it. And that leads us to the abandonment. Instead of putting things back properly, I just started tossing the items nearby or just leaving them out. And slowly the system collapsed on me. And then I started to think and felt very shameful about why can't I just stick to it like other people? And then I quickly shifted my mindset because I don't want to be trapped in a negative cycle. And I gave myself grace and lovingly accepted my ADHD brain because I do have superpowers with it. And I just have to learn to work with it, not against it. Now, at this moment, I'm just separating out what tech I actually use, what I don't, and I am finally checking each of the chords to see which work and which ones don't, because I know my brain. I know I was probably in a rush and I couldn't figure out if the block worked or if it was the chord that wasn't working, so I just gave up and threw it all in the basket to deal with it another time. Well, today is the day we're dealing with it. These blocks, they're no good. They're crap. Same with the chords. The chords that actually work are right in here. And of course, I used a clear Ziploc bag. And this right here is our tossy pile. This is what no longer serves us, and it is out of here. And this is what we are keeping. So now we need to put this back into the bin. Now, why does this happen with the ADHD brain, right? We got to understand our brain so we can work with it. Well, we all know that it's dopamine driven, right? Like our brain craves novelty and challenge. And once a system is familiar, it doesn't light up the brain in the same way. Another thing is out of sight, out of mind. Like if the system is too hidden with items tucked away behind closed doors within closed storage, my brain's going to totally forget it exists. If you watch Clutterbug, cricket organization is not going to work with my brain. Another thing is that if the system is too rigid, I'm going to feel overwhelmed. Like if it feels like it takes too many steps for me to open a bin, open a lid, put it away in the exact perfect spot, my brain is going to totally rebel because it's just too many steps for me. That's why easy, quick, open the drawer, drop it in the bin so I can see it has always worked for me. That's why a lot of my organization is very visual, very open. Now, this organizer right here has important documents for Hoarder's Heart, and it's worked for me because it's clear and I can pull it out quickly. I also am starting to notice that organizational pieces that are in bright colors really stimulate my brain to give me some dopamine. So I hold the focus longer to complete the task. And this next cubby is designed for Tyler's creative zone, right? It has his bins of paint, of markers, and it's very visually easy to see the bin labeled, grab it and pull it out so he can draw. Now this next bin is a mommy bin zone, and she needs a little help. She's falling apart, but what's in here is a majority of like my journals, or if I want to do my little adult coloring. There's also a lot of ideas for Hoarder's Heart in here, and also supplies that I can use. Now, I'm going to very quickly empty this out like we did before, but I want to talk about how can we turn this around so that the system still works even after the dopamine has dropped. Well, number one is we're going to design for imperfection. So instead of this perfect system, we're creating a good enough one that can handle the ADHD abuse. Like my YouTube bin is basically you open the drawer and you just drop it in there. It's easy. I'll be able to keep up with that. It's not a bin with 4 little bins and cords and all this little stuff. I will be able to successfully keep up with it. Just like this bin right here where I have agenda books and all that kind of stuff. It's just going to open up and you drop it. I can handle that. And yes, Miss Peppy is amazed by how much stuff we have, and I gotta separate it out because half of this stuff, the notebooks are full and are outdated, and I just don't need it at the moment. Number 2 is going to be attach your reset to a joy habit. I noticed that the space that I can keep the cleanest is the kitchen. Why? Because I have a joy habit of listening to music or an audiobook or something that captures my attention while resetting it. And I figured I can do that once a week to reset this space as well. That way, that positive association keeps dopamine tied to the system instead of boredom. Now, this label, it's hurting, right? And it used to be a toy bin, and then I put a sticker on it, but I decided that it would be better if I just use the black chalk paint that I already have and cover it. And yes, this took 2 coats, but this leads me into number 3, which is allow rotation. Lean into the need for novelty. Every few months, refresh the system. Swap out the baskets or relabel it or change the layout, preferably with items you already have. But that little new system can spark up that dopamine and keep you engaged in keeping up with your system. Now, this next basket is Brandon's, and it's going to be very outdated because a lot of this was from COVID when the kids were home doing schoolwork. So we're going to very quickly go through it and let go of the outdated stuff. Now, we're going to keep it for Brandon because he does have stuff out here that he works on, but a lot of it's going to go. Like all this right here, this is what we're letting go of. And over here, this is what he's keeping. It's going to be primarily kept for college information, important senior stuff that he has, also work information. This is the stuff that typically gets left on the table. So by organizing it all in this cubby, it's easily accessible so that he can find everything that he needs. Now, the next bin that we're going to go on is Tyler. And Tyler is going to need a lot of his schoolwork because they're no longer allowed to bring their laptops home. So if he has homework, he has to do it on my laptop at the table, accessing his Google Classroom. Now, number 4 is going to be visual cues are key because dopamine loves stimulation with open baskets or color-coded bins. Like, what is your favorite design or color? Or even using picture labels to keep your brain connected to the system. Visual rewards keep the system feeling more alive and less like chores. And the last one is going to be celebrate the micro wins. Pair the maintenance habit with a reward. If you're taking 10 minutes to reset your organizational system, then tell yourself, once I reset this, I am going to make myself a cup of coffee, or I'm going to take a walk, or I'm going to do something that's enjoyable to me, that's healthy. Now, me and Ms. Pepper were very pleasantly surprised to see how much stuff we were getting rid of. I really wasn't thinking I was going to have a huge tossy pile this episode, but we do. It's a lot of stuff. And of course, we have to follow through. We're going to give away stuff that we don't need anymore, and we're going to throw it out immediately. We're going to recycle it as best as we can, and I guess it's not follow through Friday. I guess we can call it Tossy Tuesday, but we are completing the task now. Now, Miss Pepper and me are so happy to show you the newly organized system again in the living room. This looks so much better. It's reset, and it is accommodating to my ADHD and also very easy for the boys to reset as well. I love how this came out, and I have no doubt that we will be able to keep up with this system now that we know how to overcome obstacles with ADHD. And my hope and my prayer is that this video motivated and encouraged you to clean, declutter, and let something go in your home today too.